The systematic targeting and killing of males is called androcide. Oppressors target males, especially those quote-unquote battle age between 15 to 55, because they're seen as the biggest threat. By eliminating men, oppressive regimes can effectively fracture society, prevent future resistance, and slow population growth all at the same time. In fact, androcide seems to be a very common feature of many genocides throughout history. During the Armenian genocide, eliminating the men was a key part of the plan to ethnically cleanse eastern Anatolia. Armenian men, who were traditionally the head of households, were targeted by Turks, while women, children, and elderly were sent on death marches towards the Syrian desert. The same thing happened in the Bosnian genocide during the Srebrenica massacre. Boys as young as 14 were separated from the rest of the population and mass executed, while women, children, and elderly were expelled. And in the Anfal genocide, Kurdish men were targeted by Iraq to reduce their ability to fight back in the future, resulting in over 180,000 Kurds and Assyrians unalived by the end of the Iraq-Iran war. These are just a few examples, but there are many more from around the world. And as a society, this can have lasting consequences for generations. After the Cambodian genocide, up to 70% of working age men were killed, which led to women picking up much of the slack and taking up leadership positions previously held by men. Today, women, especially widows, make up 60 to 80% of the population in some parts of Cambodia. Oppressors are well aware that in order for an ethnic cleansing campaign to be fully effective in the long term, the male population must be strangled to prevent future uprisings. And the whole reason I'm making these connections is to further crystallize that what is happening now is genocide, even if our leaders don't acknowledge it, which they probably never will. The unfortunate reality is that most genocides are not recognized by the people who carry them out. To this day, Turkey doesn't recognize the Armenian genocide. The US has still not recognized or apologized for the genocide of Native Americans, and it's likely that Israel and the United States will never recognize the genocide in Gaza. But when we know our history, we don't need the acknowledgement of our leaders, the UN, or even the ICJ to call this exactly what it is. So if you made it this far and you want to help, here's what you can do. There's a public action toolkit in my link tree and other quick 3-minute tasks that you can do today. If you're in the position to donate monetarily, please consider purchasing and donating an eSIM, which is a vital way for reporters and families in Gaza to connect with the outside world. And lastly, now is a good time to connect with the local group, find community, and get organized. That's how we're going to be able to take this all to the next level and do this in the long term. So reach out to an organization near you, or you can check out the Conscious Citizens, which is a community that we started to help us all be more politically engaged. Whatever it is, do at least one thing today in support of a free Palestine.